In these museums, you will definitely not want to be photographed. Most likely, you will want to get out of these terrible places as soon as possible. Having visited at least one of them, you will probably still be moving away from the impression made. If you are brave enough and do not fear for your psyche, I suggest you go to our list of the 10 scariest museums in the world. 10. House on the Rock. The House on the Rock was opened in Wisconsin in 1959. This is a unique architectural complex that houses a huge collection of diverse and strange, extremely strange exhibits. For example, you can find a sculpture of a sea monster with a height of 60 meters and old jukeboxes. Maybe it doesn't sound so bad. But just imagine that all this is located in rotten, dark and dusty rooms, and you walk through the halls of the museum to the accompaniment of musical junk, playing infernal melodies. 9. Psychiatric Museum dedication. The Creepy Glore Psychiatric Museum is located in St. Joseph, Missouri. The atmosphere in the building is disturbing and oppressive. Once this museum was a real psychiatric hospital, where lobotomies and electroshock treatment were practiced. Also in the past, patients were treated here by putting them on a sedative chair, where they bled out through small incisions, and dipping them in icy water. 8. The Ventriloquist Museum in New Haven. In New Haven is a museum in the halls, of which there are a whole series of old dolls and ventriloquist dummies. Every seat in the hall is occupied by a doll, so you can only stand on the stage. There is no more space. Most people do not suffer from the fear of imitations of living creatures, but even for the bravest, this is a terrible place. You should at least remember the curse of Chucky to break out in a sweat. 7. The Catacombs in Palermo. Deep in the bowels of the Capuchin monastery, you can see hundreds of corpses, monks and local members of society. The corpses are lined up against the walls in the clothes they were buried in. The bodies fell into the catacombs in the 16th century. The cool and dry air has preserved the bodies well, so well that it seems as if some of them are just sleeping. But most of them look like scary zombies, ready to pounce on the first visitor. 6. London's underground prison. This prison is really famous. It is scary in the sense that no one wants to be attacked from around the corner by an actor dressed as Jack the Ripper. In addition, this dungeon contains a large collection of medieval torture devices. Oh, yes, if you are going to this museum, do not forget to bring heart drops. All the actors there really know their business. 5. Cesare Lombroso Museum of Criminal Anthropology. Cesare Lombroso founded the Italian School of Criminology. So it is not surprising that this museum, filled with objects of his work, is a really scary place. Here you can find pictures of crimes, murder weapons, and even the head of Lombroso himself, perfectly preserved in a jar of formaldehyde. Very nice place. 4. Madame Tussauds Museum. This museum is famous all over the world for its collection of wax figures, in most cases celebrities. But this museum has a darker past that few people know about. Madame Tussauds herself began collecting during the French Revolution. She went to the guillotines after people were executed and made wax casts of severed heads. The most famous exhibit was the last king of France. All these heads are displayed in the museum along with a collection of monstrous historical exhibitions in the Fear Room. Also in these halls are actors who can suddenly jump out of the corner. Be sure to bring a change of underwear. 3. The Museum of Anatomy. Honor Fragonard was a professor of anatomy. Well, or at least he was until they put him in a madhouse. 20 years later, he began his work, which became the main goal of his life. In 1794, Fragonard began collecting dead bodies, which could then become exhibits of his future Museum of Anatomy. This museum houses a collection of corpses, which Fragonard personally disposed of the skin and embalmed in a special solution, the recipe of which is still a mystery. The collection includes the skinned bodies of animals, children, and executed criminals, as well as a collection of skulls from a psychiatric clinic. 2. Mutter Museum. The museum contains a collection of skulls and anatomical specimens, including a wax model of a woman with a horn on her forehead, a 1.5-meter-long human intestine, and the fossilized corpse of a woman that turned into soap in the ground where she was buried. 1. Museum of Purgatory. This museum is located in Italy, in the Church of the Sacred Heart, which was built to save the souls of sinners. This museum has collections documenting the appearance of the dead from purgatory. Here you can find a table with scratches and lines made by an otherworldly hand, as well as burnt fingerprints on clothing and bedding. But perhaps the most terrible thing is a book with a handprint burned on one of the pages, the imprint of a long-dead monk who suffered in the fiery hell for some sins. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of mysterious stories and photos. Check out this playlist and I'll see you in the next video.